Welcome back. Jamaica mourns another of its great icons in music this week. Winston Merritone Blake, who succumbed to asthmatic complications at age 75. Winston Blake was not only one of the pioneering creators of Jamaica's popular music, he spent his entire life promoting the music all over the world, racking up credits as producer, sound system operator, promoter, entrepreneur, and more. Central to Blake's legacy is the legendary Merritone Disco, owned and operated by him and his siblings Tyrone, Trevor, and Monti, a sound system that spawned a musical movement in Jamaica. We're joined right now by one of the surviving Blake brothers, Monty, right now, right here on our stage. Monty, please accept on behalf of all of us that are on stage our condolences to you and the family.
Thank you.
We mentioned you as one of the two surviving members of the Merritone brothers, because Tyrone passed
yes.
in 2012, right?
Yes.
Winston struck me as a very spiritual, positive person.
Yes.
Every time I see him on TV or in the flesh, he's positive, he's encouraging, he's cheerful.
He's always hugging and kissing.
Always, always, always. And I want to ask about his state of mind leading up to the passing.
Well, Winston is always very positive. As a matter of fact, when the asthma was really heavy on him, I was going out one night, and he said, as soon as I get better, you're not going to leave me here, you know. So he's always figuring that he would be well again and thing. But as the years go by, and you know, he has had asthma since he was a child, both of us. You know, at 75, it starts to take a toll, especially around this time of year. Because last year was the first time Winston ever met schoolboy champs.
Oh.
In all of his life.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh,
because
wow.
it was this time of year, and there's a lot of pollutants in the air, and you know, things that trigger off asthma. So, you know, I was with him almost every day, but every day since October. I just decided to hang down there. Not that he was sick, I was sick. And I decided, you know, my girlfriend just passed, so I said, well, hell, I'm staying home alone. I spent some quality time with him. And it turns out to be a valuable time for me.
For you?
Yes, yes, indeed.
Because you guys are so tight.
Oh, yes, we are.
I mean, it's almost as if you live in the same home.
Yeah.
It's always, once you see Winston, one is looking around to see where you are, and vice versa.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine you without him, and vice versa. How would you sum up Winston's legacy?
Well, it's huge. I always thought it was a great legacy until he passed, and I realized it's greater than great. It's huge. You have people calling from all over the world, telling you, you know, what they felt from Winston, how they benefited from him. He's always counseling people, helping people, sending kids to school. And you know, like if you buy his house, he would make 10 trips a day to the gate because people come and asking for something to eat and all of that. Oh. And that's his charitable person.
Oh, wow.
He calls up shows when, you know, he listens and, you know, compliments them. You're playing nice music, maybe you need to tweak this and that. He loves his enemies, you know, because in every business you have people that...
Detractors, yes.
Yeah, but it never bothered him.
Okay.
Never bothered him.
Something that stands out for me in the old bio, in the story of Winston and the Merritone music and the Merritone movement, is the 1960s, the early 60s, when the music was in its infancy. Jamaica's music.
Yes, as a matter of fact, not to cut you, but I was doing, you know, an interview for Reggae Day on your competitive, and I was telling the folks there, and they were amazed. I said, imagine Jamaica without reggae music, without ska, without rocksteady.
Yes.
And if you can, then Merritone was there. The girl asked, what you play? I say it was rhythm and blues, country and western, and mento and calypso. That's what the dance hall was.
That was what it was
jazz, you know.
at the late 50s,
Yeah.
heading into the 60s. And then came the unique Jamaican own music form, which in the form of ska.
Ska, yes.
But then the radio station, it was only one at the time.
Yes, sir.
RGR.
Yes.
They weren't playing it.
Absolutely not. The sound system operators and the jukeboxes were the only way to propagate the music. I could remember people coming to, like, where we used to play at what you call VIP, it was Glass Bucket. And he would come with his 45 and say, Mr. Murray, you can play this. And you know, I don't know if you're familiar, everybody that does a record is the greatest record in the world.
Oh, yes.
And Winston would say, listen, you can't just put on records. I have to go home and study and figure out where.
Okay.
And he said to me, boy, he was very disappointed that Winston Blake never played the record. He rode his bicycle, you know. And the next Saturday night he came by and I just coming in, he heard Winston play between these records and he said, boy, that is where it's supposed to be, and that is Winston's dream. He said the music must flow like a river.
Okay.
And he spent his lifetime trying to figure out which record should follow the next.
But at that time, in those early years, in the early 60s, the sound system, and we're talking about the big ones too, the others, which were bigger than you.
Oh, much bigger.
You were a small
Yes, we were.
party house kind of sound.
Yes, a house kind of sound.
And there were the Sir
Sir
Cox and Dodd.
A radio sound.
Right. Right. The Sir Cox and Dodd. The Duke Reed,
Reed, yes.
Buster.
Yes, Prince
Buster and so on. But all of you were part of the scene then.
Yes.
You were you formed a platform for Jamaica's music to get to the people.
Indeed.
They would come to the dances to hear what's new.
Yes.
Because it wasn't available on radio.
No, absolutely not.
And so the sound system then was the only platform that was popularizing the music. And Winston was very instrumental, was a producer himself, producing music.
Yes. Can I give you a little anecdote? Merritone started out as Merritone Sound System, or the Mighty Merritone.
Yes.
When we came to Kingston for the first big dance in 1962 at the Wembley Club, and then we started to play at the Copacabana on the East Coast. And there's a gentleman that used to be with Baron Lee, our head man. His name is Ronnie Nasrallah. He was a public relations.
Ronnie, yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And Ronnie said to Winston, I said, listen, if you guys want to attract middle-class people or anything, you can't use the name sound system.
Yes.
Use the name discotheque. And I said to him, but Ronnie, a discotheque is really a highfalutin word for a nightclub.
Yes.
He says it doesn't matter. In France, you know, it's a disco. And then that's when we started to use the word Merritone disco. And, you know, everybody else have a disco. I probably don't know where it came from.
Yes, because there were an explosion of discos.
Yeah. But a disco is really a nightclub, like a turntable.
Yes.
Like,
so it was a mobile disco, so to speak.
More or less.
So wherever you go with a disco.
Yeah, but it sounds good if you tell your mom I'm going to a disco. You know, she say, hey, you know, what's that?
But then, then Monty, the music evolved, and there came the rock steady out of ska into reggae, and later on into dancehall.
Yes.
But speak to me about you now as a youngster in that time of great change.
Yes.
In the social fiber of Jamaica, developing, pioneering an entire culture of music. So take me back to the 1960s now. Well, your own experience as a youngster, a little young man with so much excitement going on.
I was a very youngster at the time.
Yes.
And then, you know, my first foray into Merritone was, you know, to go and pick up bottles. Yes. Because you would get the bottles on consignment and you have to return them to get back your deposit and all of that. So then I would steal a dance with a nice big lady who would, you know, in the morning. But to see people dance and how they dress and how they, you know, it's really wonderful. And then Winston really had his own unique style. All of us were a unit, but he was really the star. And, you know, he would play the music, use his little percussions. And, you know, I went to Tribal Records one day and a guy said to me, "Are you Merritone?" I said, "Yes, I'm his brother." He said, "I sold this guy the record. He come back and he said, I don't hear the little things in it, you know." I said, "Oh, my brother does that when he's
He does it live. he was live, putting in these things live.
But it was really, you know, we went all around the island, and we had a unique style of playing the music, where, you know, we would break up, you know, different genres and break it up with a little love song, because as we were discussing earlier, Jamaicans love their slow songs or love songs. But I was telling my daughter that it's not every slow song is a love song. Some of them are protest songs against a man who broke their heart or something. Anyway, Winston got involved with the producing aspect of it. That was very interesting. He called it the VIP Talent Series, where I forget the name of this producer. He wanted to attract artists, so he figured through Merritone, they would, you know, come, and they put in an ad in the papers. An enormous amount of people came in for, including, out of that came Beres Hammond, the Mighty Diamonds, Cynthia Sloss's late wife, Jacob Miller to a later date, and I'm forgetting one more group, the Tamlins.
The Tamlins,
All of those, and our Merritone alumni. I mean, we weren't business savvy enough to sign them to labels.
Oh, you were not?
No.
You were more focused on the music, the creative side of it.
Having fun.
But you started your own nightclub.
Yes.
The Turntable Nightclub.
Well, yes. Turntable Nightclub started when venues become very scarce around Kingston.
Yes.
You used to play, most of them, you know, properties were sold. And like down where the Canadian Banquet was the great, was VIP, but was Glass Bucket before that.
Yes.
And then we were up in Max Midway or Red Gal Ring and Copacabana on the East Coast. And we saw the need now to have somewhere for ourselves. And just the name alone, Turntable. People always be talking about Van Island. I said the name Turntable came about because we were probably the first nightclub playing vinyl, because every other nightclub at the time was live bands.
And yourself, you guys traveled extensively. Worldwide, and not just in Jamaican community and Jamaican diaspora, further afield.
One of the most amazing experiences was playing in Cuba.
Yeah.
Winston actually went into the diaspora in the 80s, and he was hardly ever playing in Jamaica. He kind of went all over California, you know, Europe, in England, Birmingham, London, France, and all of the eastern seaboard up and down, across to Canada. You know, he has a big following there. So he hardly after a while played here in Jamaica.
So to what extent is it preserved, Monty, the Merritone sound right now?
Nobody can replace Winston.
Yes.
To be quite frank with you. But, you know, I think it's preserved based on the, you know, the calls we've been getting for jobs overseas and locally.
Oh, okay.
And that is what I really, you know, the legacy seems to be very safe. We have a strict, you know, code that he leads that we have to follow. And if Craig is playing a song or Michael Thompson is playing, you just go and look at them. And he said, you know, that's not the right song at the right place.
Okay.
And then in the same token, when they might introduce a song for the younger folks, he might say, that's a nice, I like that. So age was not his thing. It's people coming through there, because a lot of the people that we have today, they grew up in homes where they hear that kind of music from either their parents or something.
And I've learned to appreciate
I said to say that I have not been to everywhere, but anywhere you go, you will see the widest range of age from 18 to probably 70, 75. Wow. And they're all partying to the music. It's the music is the thing, not about just where you go or what you think.
Okay, so the aggregation nowadays would be Craig Ross, Mikey Thompson,
Richie Clark.
Richie Clark, and yourself.
Yes.
Okay, so that's
and every now and again we invite a guest to play with us, because we're not, you know, we're open to all.
Okay, so wonderful to hear, sir, that the Merritone sound, the Merritone movement is alive and well and is indeed preserved. So nice to hear that.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Monty, so nice, sir, to have you as usual right here.
My pleasure to be on air.
Anytime, man, anytime.
Take care of yourself.
All right, there you have him right here on stage. Monty, recalling the great work of brother Winston Merritone Blake, still very much alive in music.
Yes, his spirit will live on.
Live on, absolutely. All right, and still to come right here on stage, a special Jamaican African Gospel Alliance.
Step in the place we are take over.
And later, Jamaican international superstar OMI will be right here on our stage. We'll be back.
Waiting here patiently for you to say that you sent him on his way. You sent him on his way. But it's time. You knew he was no good, had to let him go. Hey, what's up? This is your boy Omi, and you're watching On Stage with Winfred Williams. Keep it locked in, man. I'm out. Drop in the ocean. Drop in the ocean. Oh, yeah.
Hi, thanks for watching our video. Hope you have enjoyed it. Please subscribe to our channel by clicking right here and enjoy so much more where that came from.
The biggest event, not just gospel, one of the biggest events in Kenya, barring, and right straight across the board, and it's a gospel event where you pull out 40,000 people in a stadium.